and gentlemen, I want to welcome everyone to our meeting, our general meeting. Today is April 16, 2024. If everyone could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Trustee Mitchell? Here. Trustee Middleton? Present. Trustee Njenga? Here. Trustee Gale? Here. Trustee White? Trustee Saunders? Here. VP Kelly? Here. And President Kerwin? Here. Okay, we have our quorum. And Student Trustee De Leon? Here. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Tonight there will be a student's performance. Dr. White Wallace will present Miss Charlotte Moore and the Traphagen pre-K students on keyboard. Let's give them a welcome. Oh, I want you to share this. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Special greeting to our illustrious board members, our superintendent of schools, our community, my colleagues, and most of all, our precious students that are sitting in the front today. I would like to introduce to you one of our amazing music teachers at the Traphagen School, Miss Charlotte Moore. For those who do not know Miss Moore, she has been in this district before I got here, and I've been here 24 years, and also a graduate of Traphagen Elementary School, 1991. Board members, sometimes you guys make it rain for us, and you spend money, and I wanted you to see your investment. 3 years ago, I applied for a grant that the board provided, grants for teachers, and I bought 300 keyboards for students. And I've actually been studying how keyboard piano playing increases fine motor skills and neuroscience of students' brains. So about 6 of our pre-K school programs engage in piano lessons during music class. This is a special piano program that is not really based on music theory, but more so based on brain theory and fine motor. It's written by a teacher who lives in the Midwest, who Zoomed and trained all of the music teachers in pre-K for them to be able to execute instruction for 4-year-olds. So we have 2 pre-K students here that are learning this year, and we have some first graders who started when we started the program and who are still playing piano. So there's nothing a pre-K child can't do. They may be 4, but they have plenty of fortitude. So I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to give the floor to Ms. Moore. But Ms. Moore, I just want to say thank you for being so steadfast and so wonderful, and always putting on an amazing musical performance and bringing joy to students' hearts in Traphagen through music. So I just wanted to thank you. My pleasure. My pleasure.
So good evening, Superintendent Smith, Dr. White Wallace. Thank you for those kind words and for your support continuously with our music programs all across the district, actually. And President Kerwin and board members, trustees, fellow colleagues, parents, and friends, thank you so much for coming out to support our youngest pianists in the district. This is a wonderful opportunity to acknowledge the powerful link between music and the science of learning, just as Dr. White Wallace was talking to you about. Your support in this program literally translates into future scientists, mathematicians, and creatives. The impact of this kind of a curriculum can never be underestimated. So we want to thank you again. So we're going to first watch our preschool. I have a very short video of what we do at school, and then our first graders who've been in the program for 2 years are going to perform for you. We also use this as a reference point for our older students. So this is an 8th grader who's a beginning student as well. Something I like playing on the piano is that it makes you more focused on like the hand-eye coordination, and makes your coordination work better. Like for other things, like you can play a sport and makes your reflex faster, or like it makes you more focused. Because it helps you focus on like the fingers you have to use for each key and the fingering of the keys. You can get backwards. Ready? Go. 1, 2, 3. That are high. What side? The right side. Okay, go ahead, Naomi. Yeah, you said it. Well, can you do it high? Where would you do it high? Can you go all the way to the high? Go ahead. E, D, C. Who else can play? E, D, C. Go ahead, Sophia. Very good. What about you, Jake? Good job. Again. Can we play C, 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 C? E, D, C. You know that when we exercise our fingers, we have.
We did it on the way here.
Okay, let's show. Who wants to lead? Some of you. Okay. I stand up. Counting up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Counting down. 1, 2. Get ready for the 2 black keys. Here we go. Okay. Let's try C, B, E. Very good. C, B, E. Try it with your other hand. Mama's gonna ask. Oh, listen. Can you answer me in a high voice? I am. Very good. She's gonna ask, how are you? And what are we gonna say? One more time. Can you do that? You're gonna do it by yourself one time, and then I'm gonna do it with you. Ready? Fingers over the 3 keys. So you can see it's a lot of repetition, especially for that age, because it's developmentally appropriate for that age. And I wanted to just briefly show you, can you come out of the video? Some of the skills specifically. The cognitive benefits of piano instruction, listening skills, language acquisition, sustained mental attention, being able to sit still and focus for a long period of time, impulse control, fine motor skills. As you can see, we were doing finger exercises, and they're not easy to do, especially at that age. We take for granted as adults that, we can spread our fingers wide, but we've had a lot of years to do that. These students who are 4 years old, 5 years old, it's really difficult for them to have that finger spread. So this is really good activity for them. Auditory discrimination, high and low, and being able to recognize and create patterns through sound. Learning music is a lot like learning a language. It has the same elements to it. When are children ready? And this is the part where I really have to appreciate Dr. White Wallace. As a music teacher, obviously you want them to be able to play songs, but there have to be skills that are scaffolded and built up to that point. So the best age is when the child shows you that they're ready. So you can ask yourself, parents, can this child demonstrate these basic skills? Do they have fine motor skills? Because as you can see, a lot of the 4-year-olds had flat fingers, and we know that that's not necessarily what we do when we play the piano. But the change from flat fingers to curved fingers is a very big developmental part of learning how to play an instrument. Can they count at least to 4? Can they recognize uppercase letters? Can they focus for a long period of time? Can they follow instructions? And do they have an interest in the instrument? Okay, you can. Okay, thanks. We played finger games. Oops, it went off. Preschoolers play finger games. And all of that speaks to being able to play an instrument. Repeating patterns. Can they find the patterns in the keyboard? 2 and 3. Believe it or not, that takes quite some time. That's not an easy concept for someone that young. We try to make it fun, so what I do is on my prep periods, I have taken children in small groups, 4 to 6 children at a time. It's more productive that way. So let's play for you. Playing is increasing your brain power. It's not just having fun and making music, which is all great, but it's actually working your brain. Okay, turn your
The students are going to play their last piece for you, hot cross buns.
Get ready, get set, 'cause here we go. I'm ready to show you all we know. We hit the first grade and have some fun. We're going to second grade now. Sing it, we will, rock. Second grade, rock. Second grade, we will, rock. Second grade, rock. Second grade,
Trustees, Madam Superintendent, are there any questions?
I wanted to know what time of my music lesson started.
I'm so proud of the students because they don't start usually till October, and they only get music once a week. And not every week do they practice. So they've been doing a wonderful job. And as I've been studying for the last 3 years, we have narrowed the gap of fine motor aptitude. When students come to pre-K, we have 61% of our students are not where they're supposed to be in fine motor. And by the time the students who are playing the piano, most of them have reached their barometer for fine motor by the end of the school year. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Table.
She got something about the same.
Everyone, please give our students again a round of applause. Next, I would like for President Kerwin and Mr. Ramondi to please join me at the podium to acknowledge Coach Semino, his coaches, and the mighty Mount Vernon High School Knights.
Easy. You take it easy.
Sorry so much for the delay, but while they're sorting out the awards, I would like to begin with Coach Semino, if you could come forward. Coach Semino, we are so proud to have you amongst us.
You do an amazing job with our students, year in and year out.
Thank you so much.
We can't reward you quite enough for all that you do, but we can say thank you from our hearts, and we would like to give you this small token. It reads, Coach and Athletic Director, Robert Semino, congratulations on an amazing season and great sportsmanship. Whoops. It also states Mount Vernon High School Knights Rock from Dr. K. Smith and the Board Trustees 2024.
Thank you.
Coaches. Next we have Coach.
Thank you, John. The coaches are here.
The coaches are here. We'll give these to them. Let's get to the students.
Yes!
Okay, so we have Coach Swozo. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Principal Dr. Pearce, could you also join us here? I'm going to turn this over to her so she can call her students. Good evening, everyone. It is my utmost pleasure to call our basketball players up, and we're going to start off with one of my favorites. And I know your teachers have already told you that I've written you up in my newsletter, right? You are my inspiration. All right. And so, Mr. Tavian Tyler, come on up. I want to share with everyone that the last 2 games that I watched with Tavian served as an inspiration for me for the rest of the school year. When I watched this young man play to the very end, to the last second, he mustered up every energy that he had to shoot. And I respected that, respected how he navigated the court, respected how when the other team members were not working as hard as they should, he did it all. And in my moment, when I needed that energy and that motivation to continue the work that I've been doing, Tavian has given me that motivation for the rest of the year. Thank you, Tavian. Oops. All right. Next up, presented to Justin Mohammed. Come on up, Justin. And Justin knows that every time I see him, we have to make eye contact, right? Congratulations on an amazing season and great sportsmanship. Justin, I'm watching you. Bryce. Where is Bryce? Mr. Bryce McCurdy, come on up. Bryce knows that we have that hidden pact, right? You know our plan, and I'm holding you to it. And so I'm extra excited to present this award to you. Congratulations on a great season. Mr. Nathaniel Edwards, give him a round of applause. Congratulations, Nathaniel. Great season. And I look forward to a great future for you. Mr. Nigel Diggs, come on up. Oh, I hear Denzel Washington. Huh? That sounds like you have all the girls crying, huh? Congratulations, Nigel. You see, he made me nervous. Is RJ in the house? All right, come on up, Mr. Hewitt. Congratulations, congratulations. Emmanuel, come on up, Emmanuel. Let's have a round of applause for Emmanuel, Mr. Voltaire. Congratulations, Mr. Voltaire. Congratulations. Kai, Mr. Harvey. Yes, Mr. Harvey. And you notice he's coming up with the gold ball. Another one to add to the room. Congratulations, Kai. Mr. Watkins. Zion. All right, Zion. Congratulations, Zion. Heidi. Yes, Heidi, a job well done. Congratulations. Daniel. Oh, Daniel from Denzel Washington School of the Arts. Congratulations. Do we have any Denzel representatives in the house? No? All right, we'll share for them. Congratulations, Daniel. Dwight. Mr. Findlay coming on up. Congratulations, Dwight. Robert, double R, Mr. Robert Robinson. Congratulations. William Robinson. Okay, Mr. Robinson, congratulations. Mr. Uzzle, is Mr. Uzzle in the house? Tristan? All right. Welcome, congratulations. And I just said welcome because Tristan is actually a 9th grader and he's on the team. So congratulations to Tristan. And we have Mr. Tyler, Caden Tyler. Also grade 9. So you see our stars are starting young. Congratulations. Deshaun Staggers in the house. Congratulations, and everybody already knows the name Staggers, so you know you have a reputation to live up to, Deshaun. Matthew Moore, also from Denzel. All right, DWSA is representing tonight. Let's hear it for Denzel Washington School of the Arts. Congratulations. The same goes together, we achieve more, right? So all the high schools united. Gerald Jallo. Denzel again. Representing, congratulations. And Mr. Hutchinson, Danilio Hutchinson.
right, Danilo, we have you. We have your name on camera. Mr. Hutchinson, let's hear it for him.
Thank you. Great.
Congratulations again, team. I am extremely proud of you. Like I said before, you were an inspiration to me, and I hope that you continue to exhibit that. And I want to say the word character, right? People continue to tease me about it, but I'm going to continue to say it, right? Community, character, and excellence. I see you exuding that in every play that you make, and I hope that you continue. Not hope, I know coach will ensure that you continue to show that. Once again, congratulations.
On behalf of our team, I just wanted to thank our superintendent and our entire board, our president, the rest of the board. The team is well aware of how much support we get from all of you. It's not unusual to see Trustee Saunders at a game in Long Island with us, so the support was felt all along the way by administration, through the board, through the super. We thank you all.
All right, everyone, give them another round of applause. These are the mighty Knights, and we're so proud of them. Next up, President Kerwin, Dr. Jamal Doggett, we give out the awards for the Biggest Loser contest. I will turn this over to them now.
Good evening, board, acting superintendent, cabinet, community. Before we get into the Biggest Loser contest, the winners of that, I just want to talk about the context of how this arrived. We started with a health and wellness committee under the vision of our board president, Lorna Kerwin, to bring wellness education to the community and work towards creating a healthier lifestyle through fun fitness activities to participate in throughout the school year. A committee was established to plan, promote, and execute the activities which culminated in the Biggest Loser Challenge for the district. I would like to thank the following committee members who are as follows. And this is the Health, Wellness, and Fitness Committee. Board President Lorna Kerwin, Board Member Ogle Gale, Ms. Lisa Mazon, Health and PE Director, Ms. Mary Beth Rose, Director of Humanities. Both of them also gave monetary contributions to the Biggest Loser Challenge as well. Ms. Kristen Sappho, who is a teacher at Lincoln School. Ms. Melissa Santoro, who is a teacher at Benjamin Turner School. 2 Zumba classes were held this year in conjunction with the Biggest Loser Challenge. This challenge was a 10-week weight loss challenge open to all staff members. The 116 participants competed to lose the greatest percentage of body weight in 10 weeks from January to March. There was a $20 fee to sign up for the challenge. There was also some generous donors who helped support and sponsor the challenge, and that was Trustee Kerwin. Give a round of applause. Dr. Smith, Dr. Gaviton, and County Legislator Tyrone Woodson. So at this time, we are pleased to announce the winners of the Biggest Loser Challenge. First place wins $1,500. Second place wins $1,000, cash money, y'all. And third place wins $500. So we're going to start with the third place winner, who is Stacia Favre from Williams School. And our second place winner, who is not here today, Joel Pratt from the Mount Vernon High School Technology Department. Let's give him a round of applause. Well, he didn't realize, he didn't read the small print, that if he's not here, that the organizer of the Biggest Loser Challenge accepts his award, so I'll accept his award on his behalf. Let's give him a round of applause. And our first place winner, $1,500, cash money. Donna Bailey from Grimes School. Let's give her a round of applause. Oh, here you go, here you go. Thank you, everyone. Congratulations to our winners.
Okay, we're going to move on to our public comments. There is no legal requirement to recognize public comment at the meetings of the Board of Education. However, the board recognizes the critical importance of community discourse and involvement in the education of Mount Vernon's children, and accordingly, members of the public are invited to speak at each regularly scheduled board meeting, subject to the terms of the board policy. Please state your name, address, and the organization, if any, you represent. A speaker must register in advance by no later than 4 p.m. the day of the meeting by contacting the district clerk in person at 165 North Columbus Avenue, Mount Vernon, New York, by phone at 914-665-5235, or by email. The board welcomes all respectful comments, whether praise or criticism. However, identifying and criticizing a specific student, parent, teacher, administrator, other Mount Vernon education official, or employee is strictly prohibited. Any such complaint must be presented and addressed through the proper administrative channels. Each speaker is allowed 3 minutes to speak. Up to 1 additional minute may be used for the speaker to summarize and conclude their remarks. If appropriate, board trustees and/or the superintendent or other staff members at the direction of the superintendent may immediately respond to a speaker's remarks. Our first speaker tonight is Vanessa Jenkins.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Vanessa Jenkins. I live at 602 East Lincoln. I'm here speaking on behalf of our track team, Halls Express Youth Competitive Track Club. So we want to just start off by saying thank you to the board for allowing us to use the Mount Vernon High School track. When my kids first joined the track team, we had to travel outside of the county to actually practice. So being able to use the Mount Vernon High School track is great. We're looking forward to it. The one thing I just would like to see if the board can kind of reconsider at some point is we've been given the track at the time of between 7 and 8. If you can see, our kids are very young kids. So, they're from the ages of 6 to 14, 13. So kind of getting them home after 8 o'clock, bedtime, shower, meal, everything else. It's just, especially during the school year, because we practice all year round, right? So we just want to, if you guys can at some point reconsider it, it would be helpful. And that's it. That's all I have.
Robert Jenkins.
So good evening, everyone. So that was my wife that just spoke. Again, my name is Robert Jenkins, same address, 602 East Lincoln Avenue. And I, again, am speaking on behalf of not only Halls Express, but I also want to recognize my two kids' school, Honor Academy, and the administration there, and the great job that they have been doing. From Miss Lisa, from Miss Marrow. When we brought our kids over from private school to the public school system, we had concerns, but we watched the growth in that school and what Miss Marrow has done, and we appreciate that. So I do want to acknowledge that as well at a public forum. I also want to say thank you for allowing us to utilize the facilities, because without the indoor facilities as well, the gym, we would be practicing the cold, catching pneumonia. So we appreciate that very much. So we come from gratitude, and allowing us to use the track, like my wife said, at the time, because we have little kids. We just won about 7 medals this week. And when they recognize the kids, they say Mount Vernon, New York, right? And we're all a community. Access and opportunity is something that's very crucial to our youth. As we saw all the youth that come up here and their accolades and the access to the pianos, us having access to this facility helps us greatly. And we truly thank you for that, because without y'all, these kids here, all of these beautiful faces would not be able to have that opportunity. So thank you.
Anthony Hall.
Good evening, everyone. Anthony Hall, Halls Express, president, head coach. Also, two of my kids went to Traphagen. Both of my kids graduated from Traphagen. One is 24, one is 34. And they one finished college and the other one is still in college. Also, again, thank you for giving us the opportunity to use the track. But one of the next thing that I'm trying to reach out to is that the school board and the system is to get our kids at a younger age to start track. So we need to try to get track and field in the elementary school system, where we started from the K through 8th graders, just like we do football, basketball, and all that stuff. We need to get them involved, because by the time our kids get to high school, it's waiting too long for them to compete with the other people. So the school system will put up the plaque if we could get the school system to put a track meet on at the end of the school year for all of the elementary school from K through 8. So you could encourage your gym teacher and your principal to get the kids in to compete. So we have all the kids are rivals. So every year they exchange their plaque to see which school wins the championship. And it'll be good for the kids. It's going to help them for basketball, football, baseball, and every other sport that they play. Okay, so that's one of the things that I'm coming up with. I'm a volunteer for the school board, and we've been doing very well within the school system. We have a lot of national champions. Also, I'm the person that coached the first Olympian for Mount Vernon, which is Deja Stevens. So, we want to continue to get more kids involved. We have a lot of stars in the school system that is not being shined, so we need to start help and get them shine a little bit more. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Lorna.
Cynthia Crenshaw. Cynthia Crenshaw, 315 Monday Lane. Tonight was really beautiful. It's always good to see our kids receiving awards. It was just very nice. But now I'm going to talk about the budget, the issue with the grants. But first of all, I want to clear this up, that I had applied for a seat on the trustee board, and I was asked
if I was picked, would I join the board? I said no. I was asked if I speak to BC. I do not speak to BC. BC and Dr. Smith, they are acquaintances of mine.
Excuse me. We cannot.
Okay, I'll say it. I'm not going to say their name. I'm not going to say their name. I already said it.
Thank you.
Okay. And what I'm here for is to talk about the grants. Prior to becoming a superintendent, the one that's home, and I call her name, why the investigation didn't take place. Okay, you are now taking steps to control the grants, but the board was in place for years, not all of you, but some of you, and that still happened with the grants prior to the superintendent that's home. Just like all the POs from last year, we are paying them this year's. What happened to the POs that's coming out this year? Also, in 2023, Serena and Associates, I think that's their name, concluded that the district could not provide evidence on the superintendent that's home. However, the district hired a trustee, close family member to do further investigation. And with this company, we are paying them $100,000. We are also paying over $500,000 for 2 superintendent positions. You inadvertently gave the Internal Revenue $15,000. With all this money going out, we still cannot give our teachers, who's the hardworking, a contract. And they definitely need a contract. Also, this year, you are doing teachers retiring. Teachers that I think you said make over $130,000. You're targeting that group. We're losing quality teachers, and you're going to be hiring teachers at lower salary, and we're going to have the same situation where they're coming in and they're going to be leaving because they're not paying the appropriate salary that they should have. Even when President Biden had his speech, he talked about the teachers, how we should be treating the teachers, how important the teachers are. So let's work with our teachers. Let's stop spending money unnecessarily. And I think it's a conflict of interest that you hire a lawyer that is a member of one of your trustees. Okay? Let's get our teachers what they need, and let's stop spending this excess money, put it back into our school, into our district. Thank you.
Sylvia Tyree.
Good evening, Sylvia Tyree, 230 South 7th Avenue. I am here because I am concerned. I have been coming to the board meetings for quite a while now, and I have not spoken. But when I was here last month, the question came up. I'm trying to find out why are the trustees and the superintendent not responding to the questions that the community is asking. You used to respond. You don't respond tonight. Then we'll come back next week. You don't respond to the people's questions. I would like to know why all of a sudden you stopped, because for years, each school board member, because I know I used to come, I used to speak, I fought for Mandela, all of that. Now all of a sudden, y'all won't even answer our questions. To me, it's a lack of respect that you have for the community, for the people who elected you. My next point is, for the past 2 years, trustees have been resigning. I find something wrong with that. Something is going on this board. Nobody's telling us why they resign. The people who resign is not telling us. You're not telling us. We already look terrible in the news because of what's going on with the district, but yet and still people are leaving. There has to be a reason why the trustees who sit here, who were elected to sit here, are leaving. So I know you're not going to answer none of these questions tonight. You're not going to answer them next week. You're not going to send me a written notice or the community a written notice for anything I have said tonight. But honestly, y'all need to stop Y'all are doing great with the kids. I loved everything that happened here tonight, so that shows the good things is going on. But your lack of respect for this community is a disgrace, and y'all need to stop and come back and do what you used to do. If we come up and ask you a question, what are you having public meetings for if you're not answering our questions? You don't answer them. You don't tell us nothing. You don't send us a notice. When we come back, you don't even answer. Y'all need to regroup and go back to what you used to do. And the public will appreciate y'all more if y'all would give us some respect and answer what we ask you. Have a good evening.
John Gallagher?
Good evening, board members, members of the school administration, and community members. I've been attending school board meetings probably around 45 years. Not every single one, but a lot of them. And I don't remember any member of the school board, and I've attended a lot of meetings, replying individually to speakers, which would be nice. It's not a bad idea, but I don't remember it being done. And I've been here a long time. I want to say something to you. My presentation was going to be short and sweet, but maybe a little bit longer now because of some of the comments that were made prior to me getting up and speaking. I want to thank the board for the hard work that you've done and the school administration for coming in with a 0% tax increase. I represent a lot of homeowners, and they ask me what's going on, and I tell them what's going on. I'm glad to say that you as a board and as a school came forth with a budget that is really decent to the taxpayers of Mount Vernon, especially the senior citizens, and you're not going to cut any services to the children, which is the most important thing. My comment to that is that you should also be addressing the need for a contract with our teachers, because our teachers are our lifeline. They're our one resource for our children. And it's appalling to me that what has happened in the past, and no names are going to be mentioned, that money was taken from our children. That's the one way that our children get out of poverty and a smaller, lower class of life is by an education process. When you take money away from, whether it be grant money, school district budget money, it's a shame. And some people should be prosecuted. You want to know, people want to know why there hasn't been a comment on it. It's probably common sense, because we know for a fact that the federal government is in the school district looking at what's going on. We know that for a fact. And they work very slowly, ladies and gentlemen, looking at what? And guess what? They're not only looking at the present administration, they've been looking at what's been going on here in years, many years, where money has been taken, not appropriated correctly to the children. I am not casting fingers or aspersions at anybody sitting up there right now. However, the tentacle goes pretty far. If you want to complain and whatnot about budgets, why don't you go to city council meetings and complain about the budget the city just gave you, an 8% increase. They gave you 6 the year before, 7 the year before that. That is unconscionable. They have never voted to come within a 2% cap increase, which is a shame, because the cost of living for several years was not above 2%, and they were looking for high raises. Our mayor just gave herself a 50% increase in her salary. So did the council people. Are they worth it? 50%? $200,000 for our mayor? Please. If you want an increase, do it according to what the rate of inflation is and the cost of living is. The answer that I got from some of the people in the city district with the budget with it was that we haven't had a raise since the early 2004, I think was the year. Well, you know what? You ran for that job. You knew what the salary was. Why do you want a 50% increase? It is hurting a lot of our senior citizen taxpayers. So I give you, as a board and a school district, credit for what you've done, keeping the cap, staying under the cap. Not only that, you've given us 0% increases, and it's been a blessing to taxpayers. A lot of single, older people and single-family people with just a house as their asset have been hurting with what's been going on. So at least you've been looking at what's there. My two questions to you, I'll quickly before I leave, is I'd like to know where you are with the city contract and why. With the teacher's contract, and why Why haven't we have had the access of knowing what's going on with what the attorneys are doing and the legal partners doing? You don't have to give us the facts. I understand the legal problems. You can't specify exactly what they're doing, but give the public some sort of answer as to what's going on with these investigations. You can say that, are the investigations going on? Yes. Have they been dropped? I don't know. Let us know. Or have they never been started? Is this just all ruse? We want to know. And we want to know it from the board because our homeowners want to know what's going on. This has been going on over here. We're paying 2 salaries to 2 superintendents. And that's not right. Okay?
Mr. Gallagher, so your time is up.
Okay.
You want to sum it up real quick?
I'm finished. Just I'd like to hear answers from the board. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tom Keller.
It's a tough act to follow, but I'll try. Thomas Keller, 12 Pasadena Place, 10552. Ken Silver told me that all that has to happen is a connection with Con Ed and the lights on the field can be turned on. Can't we do that so the track people can go in the winter at 5 or 6, 7 o'clock? As Mr. Gallagher said, these investigations go back not to the present superintendent or the previous one, but the previous one to that, who was here about 10 years. High school display. I live near the high school. I go by quite frequently. The display. Blood drive, January 17th, 2024. Temperature, 0% Fahrenheit. Clock, I came over here, was it 6:15, I left my house. 6:15 in my car. It's 6:30 on the display. I was told, this is a BOCES thing. We have to go through BOCES to fix it. We look like a bunch of fools. This is a high school. We get incorrect information on there. Fix it. Athletic fields. Back a few years ago, Trustee Kerwin and myself and the Orville Gale people were talking about the lack of access to the field for tennis and for track. On the weekends, when the high school or the school was not using it, well, we can't pay custodians for Saturday and Sunday unless there's a school event. So on Sunday mornings from 9 to 12 or 1 or 2, there's a soccer group that uses the field. I went down and said, what's this? We have a permit to use the field. Are custodians working on Sundays now? Or do they have a key to open the gate? Let us know about these things. Youth soccer group, okay. Plus, there was an adult baseball league in the past, in the summertime. Somebody had to open up the gate. Continuing with the athletic fields, the tennis courts. So I was petitioning to get Republican signatures recently, and I bumped into a guy named Todd Rubens. He graduated around 2000. He's a tennis pro. He wanted to use the tennis courts in the summertime for a tennis camp. Split the proceeds. The school makes money, he makes money. Kids get instruction in tennis. He went into the high school and he couldn't meet with anybody. The principal, the athletic director. So he said, you got to come to a board meeting and meet some of these people and make your proposal. The budget. You may vote on a budget for 0% tax levy, but as we all know, if assessments change, you may pay higher taxes, you may pay lower taxes versus last year. I've asked you people, if you talk to Stephanie Vanderpool, the assessor, to give us today, not necessarily in June when the tax bills go out, what's the assessed value versus last year? And if she doesn't give it to you, go to Comptroller Morton, because he can get it. And if he doesn't give it to you, go to the mayor. She can get it. I hope you've done that, because if assessments are down and people get a 2%, 3% tax increase, and you say, oh, the tax levy was 0, that's the reason for it. Okay, on the budget. I heard on the radio that the budget in Albany had to be passed by the 23rd because on the 23rd, school budgets had to be approved. I thought it was the 16th. Was WCBS wrong, or are you people right? Is it the 16th, the 23rd? When is it? Used to be the last Friday of the month in April, before the election in May. But it changed this year, I guess. Okay, on the teachers union agreement, you can't come to an agreement before you know how much money you're getting from the state. Hopefully that's in the next week or two and so forth. And give us an idea as to what's happening, as Mr. Gallagher said, and other people. What's happening with the teachers agreement? Union people are not going to like what I'm going to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. In the past, under Jeff Yarkis, to a lesser extent Karen D'Amato, the union's assets, phone banks, copy machines, other union offices, were used to favor certain trustees. Individually, fine. But don't use the union's assets to affect trustees.
That's not true.
Mr. Keller,
It is true.
That is not true.
It is true.
Mr. Keller, your time is up.
Hold on. John, would you confirm what I just said in the past?
You can't go.
It is true.
It is not true. The vice president of the union is not true. It's not true.
Thank you. That ends our public comment this evening. Okay, can we have order in our meeting, please? We would like to continue a meeting. If we could have everyone be seated, and if we could have quiet in the room, please, as we continue our meeting. It's almost 8 o'clock, and we're looking forward to go home. Thank you. We're going to move on to reports of the superintendent. Good evening, everyone. I didn't have an opportunity to express that I would like us to be respectful to the community. So we've been talking about it and our lack of response. What our plan is not to address the public when they speak, but when we can, to respond to them under old business the following week. That's how we will be addressing the public's concern. In some instances, we don't always have the answer, so we need to prepare for the answer. So we will be addressing old business at the next board meeting. I'm so sorry I didn't have an opportunity to say this before it was mentioned, but it's very timely, and it's something that we feel that we need to do. Okay? Moving right along, I would like to thank the PTA Council for hosting the wonderful Edith Kaplan Scholarship Dinner last Friday. I am always happy to see the amazing faculty and staff in the Mount Vernon schools be recognized, and I am so grateful for the money raised to support our scholars. Besides this wonderful event, I thank you for all you've done, and that goes for each of the PTA at every school, the PTA council, its members, the staff that showed up in full force. It was a wonderful event. We had our trustees that attended as well. It was a fabulous gala. So fundraising is something that we look forward to helping our students, and I'm so glad that we had such a wonderful evening. It happens every year. So again, thank you for recognizing the outstanding staff and faculty that work within our school every day. The district values these individuals highly, and they deserve every recognition that they can get for the work they do to support students. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I also want to mention, we receive anonymous letters
sometimes those anonymous letters are very general. It really doesn't say much. We typically don't respond to anonymous letters, and it would be helpful. We have an open door policy. People have to, if there's serious things that's happening in the schools, say what it is, be specific. When you make generalization, there's nothing we can do about that, and we don't even have anyone that we can go to say what's going on. So, we get anonymous letters that speak to staff members. There may be some validity to whatever people are saying, but if you don't tell us, we really don't know. I wanted to talk basically, if anyone missed our budget presentation previously, I just want you to know that we did a taping. That's Sandra, Mike, and myself. She's our assistant superintendent of business, and that conversation should become on our website this week. I also want you to know that there will be a follow-up budget presentation to the United Black Clergy on May 4th, a budget presentation on May 7th. Our budget newsletter will be mailed to all of the Mount Vernon residents on May 10th. And of course, voters can vote on May 21st. At this time, I would like to call Dr. Jamal Doggett up. He will be making a presentation along with, and he'll do the introduction for his colleague.
Good evening again, everyone. Back in September, we introduced the literacy rollout for the Mount Vernon City School District, and during that presentation in September, we discussed the reading wars between the science of reading, balanced literacy, structured reading, and how these wars of literacy left the schools to figure out the best way to implement literacy instruction. And during that time, the Mount Vernon City School District took a balanced approach because there was no guidance really given from the state. Well, that has changed as of January 2024, where the New York State has given schools some guidance on literacy implementation. This occurred through a series of workshops given to schools and districts across the state, which was referred to as the NYSID Literacy Initiative. And during this initiative, they do not recommend any programs, and they give schools autonomy to make changes to the current program. Now, some of this information was discussed in our education committee meeting. So at this time, Ms. Rose will present the Literacy Initiative overview from NYSID, the impact and implementation it has on the district, some data indicating our academic progress in ELA as of mid-year, and next steps for the district. So without further ado, Ms. Mary Beth, the Director of Humanities.
Good evening, President Carlin, board members, Superintendent Smith, our community members, teachers, administrators. As Dr. Doggett stated, I will be presenting on the updates that New York State has shared with us, the 7 literacy briefs, and what it means for us as a district. Thank you. So there are 7 briefs that outline what literacy instruction should look like. I attended a 3-part series with representatives from BOCES and New York State to learn more about these initiatives. And as Dr. Doggett stated, the state was very clear. They're not telling us what to do or how to do it. Instead, they're asking that districts look at what they have in place and seek to make changes, embedded changes based on instructional practices and different strategies for reading and writing. Brief 1 is all about the science of reading. There are 5 key components to the science of reading. Number 1, it must be research-based. Number 2, it must inform instruction from early childhood through adolescence. Number 3, there must be an emphasis on the big 6, oral language, phonological awareness, phonics, comprehension, fluency, and vocabulary. We will look at that a little bit more later. Number 4, there must be an emphasis on a culturally responsive teaching environment. And number 5, a variety of instructional approaches for teaching and learning. So if you look at this slide, these are the major takeaways from the work that the state has shared with us. To the left, that is the big six, which I just read to you, or language, phonological awareness, phonics, comprehension, fluency, and vocabulary. New York State says that our program must be based on these 6 items, the big 6. If you look to the right contains the high-impact instructional practices that are currently in place. There are areas, of course, for improvement, but this is the major takeaway from the information from New York State. Thank you. Brief 2 focuses on some of the misconceptions about the science of reading. Yes, you've heard us say the reading wars, balanced literacy, science of reading, structured literacy. So brief 2 seeks to kind of get rid of all of that information to kind of block it. So the first myth says that the science of reading is one instructional method. We know that is not true. We know it is an approach, and it is a balanced approach. Myth number 2 says that the science of reading has skills being taught in isolation, and we know that is not true. Next slide. Brief 3 focuses on our writing instruction, and we know that writing can never be taught in isolation. Instead, writing must be taught in conjunction with reading and vocabulary or word study. Next slide. Some of the work that I've been doing with our high school teachers involves looking at our writing program and what we're doing for students as they enter high school. So if we think with the end in mind, we want students to be able to write from a variety of sources. That comes with reading comprehension practices and word study. Next slide. This is just a sample of how we might teach writing, from the pre-writing phase to the during writing phase to the post-writing phase, or what we would call the revising and the editing. Next slide. When we think about writing, we think about the model, practice, reflect. The teacher models, the students practice, the students have time to reflect on their learning, and the cycle continues. Next slide. The last tip about writing that New York State has shared with us is that we must expose students to a variety of text, again, so that students can write from a variety of sources and have a variety of purpose to write from. Next slide. So we talked about the big 6, what that looks like. So now let's take a look at some of these high impact instructional practices. If we think about pre-K, there should be a strong emphasis on engagement with a variety of text. If we look at the elementary years, that engagement coupled with text-based writing opportunities. And then when we move to high school, a combination of engagement with text, text-based writing opportunities, and collaboration and culminating projects. Next slide. I'm so glad that pre-K is here this evening, because all of the research about pre-K, there's a lot that has to do with music and dance and song, and that students first learn language from music, from sounds, and how they put everything together. So there's such a strong emphasis in pre-K on the use of play and the use of music. Next slide. Early elementary years, again, a variety of text, exposure to a variety of text, and then the opportunity to write from a variety of sources. Next slide. High school, again, a variety of text, writing from multiple sources, and then the opportunity to collaborate. Next slide. The last brief is brief number 7. This is the Leading for Literacy brief. This pertains to our leadership team here in the district and what we are currently doing. So we have a literacy planning committee that is made up of teachers and administrators. So step 1 is to have an understanding of the science of reading, but it's even more than that. It's an understanding to know that there's not one approach to teaching reading and writing. Step 2, looking at our instructional practices, the frameworks that we have in place, and thinking about where we can make changes. Step 3, cultivating the conditions of adult learning, having an action plan for how we will roll this out. Step 4, implementing systems for identifying student progress. And lastly, effective assessment of instruction. And that is an area that our committee is working on. Next slide. Again, this is the most important information. That's why I wanted to show it again. So if you leave here this evening with anything that I've shared with you tonight, it's the Big Six and how we teach the Big Six. Looking at our current plans, looking at our current practices, our professional development, and how we put all of this together. Next slide. So what have we done so far? I attended all of the trainings and shared the information with all of our high schools. So again, I started thinking with the end in mind. So I led professional development with all 4 high schools, Mount Vernon High School, Mount Vernon STEAM Academy, Denzel Washington, and Rebecca Turner. I also facilitated 2 trainings for our principals, as they will be the ones monitoring this work. And lastly, I meet with our reading teachers for our monthly PLC, and I facilitated a training with them as well, the 9 through 12 reading teachers. Next slide. In January, Dr. Doggett shared that our goal for this year is to have 75% of our students achieving a level 2, 3, or 4. That is something that we are working toward. So if you look at the data that's on the screen, we are currently at 30%. So if we continue with this trend, we are on target to meet that 75% of students at a level 2, 3, or 4. And if we think about what I've shared this evening, that's looking at the Big Six and looking at the instructional practices. Nothing replaces good teaching. Nothing replaces a good teacher. So looking at those high impact practices, and that's what we can use to help our students succeed in reading and writing. Next slide. So our next steps, I told you that I started with the high school. So the next step is to work with our K-8 teachers in grade bands to train them on the literacy briefs, to have them take a look at those high impact instructional practices, which most of them are using. From there, identify where we can grow. Step 2 is to continue with our literacy planning committee. The teachers and administrators on the committee are working diligently to prepare units of study for the teachers in the district. They are working on assessments. We are building this as we go. With that work, we need to update everything in Atlas. So that's the other piece as well. As you know, Atlas holds our curriculum maps. We need to make some edits. We need to make some changes based on the work we're doing this year and based on this information from New York State. Next slide. As I stated, we're in the middle of a rollout. We are building this as we go. When we receive information like this from New York State, it is our job to look at what we have in place and see where we can improve. I mentioned already that we started at the high schools, looking at the reading specialist. The next area will be to look at the K-8 and then look at different content area teachers. Next slide. This link will be shared with all of you, members of the board. This is a direct link to the state website where you can go on and look at the literacy briefs a little bit more in depth. We did present this in an instructional committee meeting, but we would like for you to have the opportunity to look through the briefs a little bit more, as this was just an overview. That concludes my presentation. Thank you.
I have a question. When you say that there's no program comprehensive on the science of reading, there are programs based on the science of reading. Is the district investigating those other programs based on the science of reading? Somebody said it was a one-stop-fits-all, right? Mm-hmm. But there are programs out there that actually address it, that may be more productive than the foundations. Are we investigating that?
So I've met with a few different companies. They've come in, they've met with me in my office at Mount Vernon High School. I've had teachers and administrators present on the committee to look at different programs, to see what they have to offer. I'm actually going to visit a couple of schools, one in the Bronx and then another school in White Plains, just to kind of see those programs in action. What we've seen in the presentation, there might be a lack of phonics and word study, and that's where we know we need to grow as a district. So I really would like to see it in action. But to answer your question, yes, we are looking into programs, but we're also looking at what we currently have in place, because we don't want to throw out the foundations, what we currently have. But yes, we are looking at different programs.
And then the other question I have is, you referenced that you're starting with the older grades?
Yes.
So I know that the younger grades, right? I'm just asking.
Of course.
The younger grades, right? By third grade, if they're not reading, literacy is beyond them at a certain point. So I'm just wondering why we're starting with the older grades, and why isn't it like done simultaneously, since there's different phases? Why would we wait?
So that answer is twofold. So number one, when I said starting with the secondary, we're starting with the training of the literacy briefs, making sure they have an understanding of it. We have high school students who are far below in reading, who are 3 to 5 grade levels below. We need to get those students to graduate. So time is of the essence, if you will. So that is why, one of the reasons why we are starting there. We're in year 2 implementation of foundation. So we have invested some time and some energy and some money, thank you, a lot of money, into foundations. So that's our focus there for K1 and K through 3.
Right.
So we have that in place, but they haven't received the training yet on the literacy briefs. They will.
Okay, and the other question before, we're losing teachers. So they were saying, and I don't know how it works here in the district, that there are certain teachers that are certified in certain subject matters. Mm-hmm. How does that impact the grades in our classes? Science, math, literacy, English. How is it we're losing teachers? Mm-hmm. Will we have the proficiency of the professionals in the district? Are we training them? What is our plan?
Okay, so I want to make sure I understand your question correctly. Are you talking about secondary teachers who have a content-specific certification?
Well, if not only the certification is secondary, but the elementary school base, the years of experience we might be losing as teachers retire. Are the teachers going to get the training that's essential in the literacy component of the educational curriculum?
They need to. The short answer, they need to. So that training, they've received a lot of training virtually. And we know that the teachers would like, and they share with us in the feedback, the surveys that I create after each one of our professional developments, they want in-person, hands-on training. So that is something that we have to work on because that is more expensive. But that type of training where teachers can have the opportunity by grade band, such as K3, 4, 5, 6, et cetera, so they have that training. It would be a disservice to not give them that training.
Okay, thank you.
And yes, the PLCs is where a lot of that will take place as well.
Okay, thank you.
I have one question about special ed. Mm-hmm. How is this affecting our special ed program? Are they going to be trained?
Absolutely.
In this way?
So I work very closely with Ms. McKinney Bromley to ensure that the special education supervisors are aware of what is going on in CNI because the two need to work together. They're all of our students, special education and general education. I now do all of the ordering for special education and general education to make sure that what we're using in the general ed classes is also in the special ed classes when and where appropriate. And that's why I speak with Ms. McKinney Bromley because there are some resources that are just for special education, maybe a cohort class or particular students. So that's why I work very closely with her to make sure that we have the resources for both general ed and special ed.
Special education strategies that we share with us also work with general education students. So
yeah,
goes both ways.
Okay.
I have a quick question. You mentioned that students in the secondary level below reading 2 to 3 grades below. What are we doing to get them up to standard to graduate? And are we just moving them from grade to grade even though they cannot read or write? What are we doing?
So the last 2 years, we've had a partnership with Putnam Northern Westchester BOCES. We've been working with experts from Putnam Northern Westchester BOCES, and they've been coming in and they've been providing PD for our teachers. Mount Vernon High School, for example, has 4 reading specialists now. Again, thank you to the board, because that was tremendous. So all 9th graders go into strategic reading. And that is where they have the foundational skills that they are missing. And they work with a reading specialist who either pushes in or pulls the students out. And then from there, we have career reading and writing for students who are in 10th and 11th grade. I was actually speaking to Dr. Pearce tonight because she's working on her schedule and what that will look like. All 9th grade students will be enrolled in strategic reading, and then certain students will be pulled for that intervention. And because we have 4 reading specialists there, it's very easy to do that. We also have to look at Mount Vernon Senior Academy, support with strategic reading there, as well as Denzel Washington and Rebecca Turner.
Thank you. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
We're going to move on to committee reports.
I just wanted to again thank Dr. Dorgett and Ms. Rhodes for their presentation on literacy briefs, and that ends the superintendent report.
Okay, committee reports. Okay, we can get right into the committee report. Trustee Gale, do you have any comment? Okay. Trustee Middleton. Trustee Jingle.
Last week, Tuesday, Acting Superintendent Dr. Smith and President Kerwin and Dr. Gaviton and I met with a college. We're looking to have some programs come for the high school students. I'm going to let Dr. Gaviton explain about the meeting.
So we're invited for Monroe College to come in. He did a presentation of what he could offer to our district in some of our partnership. As you know, they have a strong CTE culinary and business program. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced having the student prepare a 5-star meal for you. So we're looking to partner with that. So as many of you know, I like free stuff. So I asked us for some free stuff. Hopefully we'll be getting that. But we are diligently working to create a partnership that would benefit our students K to 12.
Thank you. Trustee Sanders.
Good evening. So special ed, the Mount Vernon district-wide autism acceptance day is Monday, April 29th from 3:30 to 6 p.m. at Traphagen, 72 Lexington Avenue. And if you want t-shirts, I think that there may be a flyer laying around. So everybody please come out. I want to thank the angels that helped put this together. I understand there was some outside angels that helped with transportation and things like that. So I just want to put a thank you out there for that. Along the IDA board, the Industrial Development Board with the City of Mount Vernon, we had a meeting on April 11th. We discussed Mount Vernon First Small Business. So there's going to be a grant that's going to help the businesses from one end of Grandton Avenue to the other end of 4th Avenue. Here's a flyer, and there should be some stuff on the website by the 25th. So I also have been meeting with Brian Simmons and Principal Pearce at Mount Vernon High School. We're going to do our second annual Shark Tank on April 25th from 12 to 2. We're going to have a few groups come in and assess the students. We have some contractors. They're talking about the house that Time for God. I know Dr. Smith is going to be a shark and a couple of other people. I think the old teacher. So please come watch that. It's going to be interesting for the kids. At Mount Vernon High School, April 25th from 12 to 2.
Can you give some details about this?
So we've been working with a lady from Scarsdale High School. She's now a consultant with Mount Vernon High School, and they want to develop a design lab. So they looked at that house in the back of Mount Vernon High School, and they're going to try to pitch a design within 5 minutes. That's the max, like they do on Shark Tank. So they're going to pitch a design of how this house should be built. The emphasis is that they identify a problem and try to figure out how to resolve it. So there's, from what I hear, I don't know how many contestants it's going to be, but we're looking to ask Dr. Smith if she would help us give them a nice dinner, the winner. To put you on the spot. Okay, so that's what I have for that. Also working with Mr. McGregor from Feeding Westchester to put pantries in some of the schools around Mount Vernon. We have some at Graham, Mount Vernon High School, Parker, and I believe I'm meeting with him tomorrow morning at Williams to put a pantry in that school. And also, this was a flyer that we received. I just want to put this on everybody's radar. There was a young lady that came in and did a presentation a few board meetings ago. Her name is Alicia Barton. Yeah, so apparently they're going to do the VFW Post and Rebecca Turner Academy has sent out an invite for April 23rd, that's a Tuesday, from 6 to 9 at the VFW Post, South First Avenue, Mount Vernon. That's all community news. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Trustee Mitchell.
All right, so since I'm doing the first five, I'm not Trustee Mitchell, but I'm Wanda White. Okay. And to add on to what you said about the VFW post, I just got the new application of what the new theme would be for next year. So we're hoping more of our teachers will participate in that writing exercise. Okay, Miss Dr. Smith? Okay. All for the building and grounds, all of our tanks that are to be removed, getting some sort of feedback, to be removed or abandoned have been cleaned out and have been drilled for soil samples. We're waiting for those results. All auditorium curtains, phase 1 for this year, has been completed. That means they've been cleaned and fireproofed. And phase 2, that's phase 2, fireproof. Will start in July.
And the next set of curtains. So phase 1 is completed, phase 2 is
Oh, okay. All buildings and high school field garage has been fire inspected and have current COs. Some stuff I don't know. 1 sink and 2 faucets have been changed at Williams School. And I thought I saw all schools have their COs as of recently, so that deserves a hand clap. Okay, Warren.
So I'm gonna try to fill that, try to come in behind that. That's hard. Yeah, a big thank you to Mike, Matt, Mark, the rest of the custodians, our building custodians. Thank you so much, our cleaners. The path to get to these COs has been a long and hard one, and I know we've been discussing how we're going to be in a better place for next year, and that's a good thing. So looking forward to see where we are when July or when August rolls around, when we talk about this again, going into the end of the year. So just to continue on from the summary of some buildings and ground stuff, we had some repairs on bathrooms for the staff at Denzel Washington near the cafeteria. Is that the bathroom where the ladies work?
Yeah.
Is that the one we've been talking about? Yes, and it was frightening. Do we upgrade it for our older workers who were having, because the toilets were so low? Are we still? Are we?
We left the standard height toilet because it's small now.
Okay.
Standard height with the curb bars.
Can I come through and take a look one time? I just want to see with my own eyes. Thank you. We installed a new gate, panty blow over Grimes school playground. Got some new hang signs at a leadership and honor academy in house. School signs are up. These are the renaming the new school signs based on. So 3 years ago the children, the students, PTA members, principals, and community members got together to discuss renaming the Columbus building, the old Columbus building and the old William Holmes building, just to a name, to something that would more align and have no age on it. Has no age. And it's aligned to a positive thing. When you think leadership, you think that's a good thing. It's positive. And it's timeless. You can never go back and say, hey, I found an article on this guy, and he said he was never going to hire black teachers in his district. You can't find that. When you look at a word like honor, okay, Honor Academy is cool because they carry the motto of hero, which starts with the word honor. It's one of the things that's part of their motto. That's really cool. The signs are really great. So, look good. Thank you. Sort of plumbing and small electric work. We're meeting again is it next week?
I had the 25th, but we're going to have to reschedule because the house the time forgot, so we'll pick a different day.
Okay, so roughly within the next 2 weeks or so?
Yes.
Okay, so now I sit on more than the Buildings and Grounds Committee, so I'm going to talk about...
Can I do one building and grounds?
Yep.
Mark, have we looked into Mandela's playground, and do we have an update of what we're going to do? Thank you.
Check. Hey, it works. So we called the company, and they're experiencing a lot of what's happening at Mandela across the country because there's only 4 distributors that all these playground companies purchase their equipment from. So they're looking into that because it seems like a systemic issue, and we're working to figure out what that is because we don't want to replace it with something that's going to do the same thing, but everything is trending in the right direction for us.
When I went around there, I noticed that the kids were still playing out there on that same area, and that, to me, it looks dangerous.
Okay, I'll have to speak to the principal about that because we don't want any of our students getting hurt.
Right, thank you.
Okay, so I'm on the wellness committee also. So I've been recently talking to Coach Semino, who was here earlier. We recognized him for all that he does. And I'm going to talk really quick about the fall 2024 sports offerings that the district is offering. Something that we don't always get to talk about, but we want to communicate it so the public, everybody knows. Please, parents, make sure your kids' medicals are up to date. Get on Family ID, which I believe the links are through the city district, through the school district page. Family ID is where you load in all those documents so that your child is cleared by the doctor to participate in sports. So, girls tennis, varsity and JV football, boys soccer, varsity and JV, girls soccer, varsity, girls swimming, cheerleading, varsity and JV. Yes, that's a sport now. So stand up. Girls volleyball, varsity and JV, and modified meaning 7th and 8th grade. I hope this year our modified volleyball team will have a facility that they can use that has a net and things like that. Actually, I should be looking over here too. Okay. Boys cross country track and girls cross country track. And of course, our district faces the same challenges, and a lot of challenges, between lack of nurses, lack of finances to make sure that we have facilities available. We have a resolution on tonight. I'm going to ask a question about related to Tuckahoe School, but we'll get there. I wanted to mention that band night, out the blue. Band night is April 25th. It's at Denzel, Washington. We're going to have our own students in the district. They're going to be playing different instruments. It's band night. This is cool because you remember back in the days we had band day, but it went across the whole city. And we had twirlers, we had all kinds of stuff. This is the beginning. And I've been talking to Dr. Smith off and on about how we can start trying to find some dollars to invest into our drum lines across the district so we can eventually somehow see some sort of rendition of what band day was. But it's going to be April 25th at Denzel, Washington. We're going to have kids from Parker, Williams, Ice Cold, which is a bunch of those students are from Leadership Academy. They won the Big Apple, the Battle in the Big Apple a couple weeks ago, first place. All right, that's the drum line. We're going to have Sticks and Stones X Factor as well, which came in second place at that same battle a couple weeks ago. Tickets are $10 in advance and $15 at the door. Food services, last thing. I've been talking to you about food services, Mr. Ramundi, for some time. We're spending a lot of money on that. They need to tell us, show us how they're worth it. So hopefully we're going to get to talk soon, and I want to start visiting buildings again. So food service equipment we need to be talking about. I want to look and see how we look on things. It's late in the year. We're way behind the ball. I'm hoping I can get in. We can start doing these tours coming up. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Kelly, VP Kelly.
I just want to report, we didn't have an education committee meeting. We will be having one, but Mr. Cabrio is busy planting seedlings for the greenhouse curriculum in the district. So hopefully we'll get an update from Dr. Doggett at some point on that. And I just want to say what a great time the Mount Vernon PTA's dinner was. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much. So I just wanted to, I want to announce that there will be an Operation Prom Dress and Tuxedo giveaway, April 26th, 27th, and 28th. It will be held at the county center. And it's free to all students, so they have to do, for seniors, that is, they need a valid school ID or transcript. The beeline will be free to transport them to the county center. I will post this invitation that we received on the website. So if you know any seniors, or if you have any seniors, please let them know that there will be a free giveaway for tuxedo and prom dress at the county center. Also, I just wanted to announce again that just, I guess, a follow-up, that our internal audit is continuing with the business office and payroll. Hopefully we will get a comprehensive report shortly, and so we could provide that to the public. The budget presentation, as we announced, will be coming up. The next one, May 7th. And then we have the budget voting during the election, May 21st. And that ends our communication. Thank you.
Do you have any old business?
I do have, I'm sorry, go ahead.
You guys kind of skipped me.
Sorry.
It's okay.
So sorry.
It's okay. All I had to say was that Mount Vernon High School is having something similar. It's gonna be say yes to the dress or tuxedo on Friday. It's from 10 a.m. to 7. They're partnering up with a boutique, and they're having that. So just wanted everybody to know. Friday is also the last day to order your cap and gown for Mount Vernon High School. So just want everybody to know that. So yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm so sorry.
High school or all the schools? Or all?
That's just for Mount Vernon High School.
Oh, okay.
I have a quick question. What's the price of the cap and gown?
Right now, the price is $35. If you don't order it by tomorrow, it's gonna go up to $80. So that's why everybody should order their cap and gown.
Do you have a count of how many
how many students?
Offline we could talk about students that don't have.
So how many students don't have? We don't have that yet. They have announced it a couple of times that Friday is the last day. But everybody that I've asked, because I have to do that as well, they've said that they've ordered theirs. So I'm pretty sure the number is not that high. But I also know that a lot of the students that have not ordered their cap and gown is because they haven't received the proper information. They're either they speak another language, or it's not very accessible when it comes to those type of announcements. It's only very so I try to let them know, because I only speak Spanish, so I try to let them know oh, did you order your cap and gown? And most of them have said no, so that's a big issue as well. They see it as something that is not necessary, but it is. So.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
So we still on the old business? Yes, okay. I do have a question. Mr. Ramandi, on the tennis court, when is the tennis court open to the community?
I don't have the hard days and times and hours for you now. I can get them for you though. I know that we do rent them out to certain agencies. So let me get back to you with that.
So can I?
I don't want to say that they're open and they're not open. I want to give you the factual information.
So we rented out the tennis court to outsiders. So it's not available to the community because we thought for the community to have access not only to the track and field but also to the tennis court, especially on the weekends. So it's very disheartening to hear that they're rented out and the community cannot use the tennis court.
So no, I wasn't saying that. I'm saying any district facility that authorize or is allowing the public to use them, they have full access to them as long as school is not in session or one of our clubs or events aren't being held. So if there's nothing booked that day or school's not in session, if they're part of that agreement, they can use the facilities. Now, certain agencies will come to us and say, we'd like to have a tennis tournament, and they fill out a facilities form. There's certain fees and structures that they'll pay us, and there's a set start and a stop time so that, we can also utilize our resources to bring additional funds into the district. Those are usually booked a few weeks to a few months in advance. I know I think Ace Tennis is having a tennis tournament using, I think, 7 or 8 days for those courts with, specific start and stop times. But other than that, the community can have access to all the facilities as long as that's part of the agreement that we cut with the city and how we built our buildings and restructured our playgrounds.
Not the city, school district.
Well, school district, certain times we went to partnerships to split things, but as long as there's nothing barring them from interior playgrounds that they shouldn't have access to, as long as it's open and we're not using it, it's a community resource.
Okay, can you please find out when the tennis court especially is open, especially on the weekends, for the community to use and post it, please, on our website?
Sure, absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Also the track.
And the track.
I was going to say, let's just get a whole list.
This seems very complicated for the community to understand when it's available. Those very nice electronic billboards outside of the high school building here and the high school. Can we post some of that information so people who live in the community understand when things are available to them?
That's a great idea.
They're not available to them?
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
All right, so
I don't believe so, no.
No, I don't think so. Yeah. But early in the morning, it's like community members want to go out, especially on the weekends, to play tennis early in the mornings. Yeah, we were told, but now the gate is closed with the chain, so they can't get across the bridge.
Okay, yeah, let me speak to the custodian over there, and let me speak to the grounds crew and make sure that, because we don't want to leave facilities open also if they're not safe. We don't want someone getting hurt on our property. But let me get a full report. I'm not saying anything is unsafe. I'm just saying, let me get a full report of what our facilities have, when they're booked, when they're open, and that way I can give you and the community all the information so that everybody knows what's happening.
Yeah, please. Thank you. This is community property. Thank you.
Can you get a timeline on when we can receive it?
End of week?
Yeah, okay.
No, there's email, and I'll be up in Albany for 2 days, but I can still do email. I mean,
at least if we can have it in time for the next builders and ground.
Yes, I could do that.
If it's, okay.
I'll slow it down.
Appreciate it.
I have a quick question. I know last week was the last Friday for Ramadan, and the parking lot needed to be used for the mosque's overflow parking. How did that situation turn out? And why did it come up now? And how many years ago has the mosque been parking there?
So I just joined this year, so I don't know what happened. No, I can research and find out for you. I know that there was a request to help it serve, their need for additional parking, and they checked with my office, and we said, it's not going to interfere with the operations of school, and it was available. And again, anytime we can partner with the community and help them out, we do that. So,
Now, is that a part of community use, using that parking lot, or is it special use?
No, the community shouldn't be parking. Nobody should be parking in any of our lots after hours. Those are for our school and our staff. However, if some sort of entity wants to utilize the parking, what they'll do is they'll contact and say, do you mind if we use your parking lot because we have an event or a function or a service? And they fill out a form just so we know, hey, this entity is going to utilize our facilities and we're not going to call the tow company.
Right. So how long? So you said you're going to check to see how long this has been going on?
I can do that.
All right. Thank you.
We also use that mosque for like drills. So like emergency drill or something. If the high school kids have to go evacuate, they go over there. So it might have been that long that we've been using them. Maybe that was the partnership they had. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So they've been using that for a long time.
And I just want to say that when they use the school parking lot, the surrounding area can park on their streets.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a community service that we do.
Yeah.
We have an agreement with them.
Okay.
Any more old business? Well, I was just going to say for old business that we need to start talking about old business, but it seems like everybody brought it up already. Yeah. But I did have one concern that, we did say that we started an audit in the business department. Trustee Kerwin did mention it, but do we have an ETA on when that's going to be done?
We don't. But the contractual agreement ends in June.
Okay.
So hopefully by then.
Okay.
Wait a minute. We are going to have updates before June, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure that.
Yeah, that's why I said that we will get. And just to be sure, the Serenity report is on our website. Is that right? Yeah. So everybody could read it to whatever and make it their correct interpretations of what it says. Yes. Okay. Thank you. That's all I have.
I have a question about following up on old business. I know you mentioned earlier that we're going to start doing that, and you also mentioned that something about the anonymous letters and things like that. The reason why anonymous letters come in is because no one that works in our school district is more aware of what retaliation is than an employee who's mistreated, trampled on, and bullied by their upper management or whoever else. What do you say to those folks? What do you say to the people who are listening now who have been dealing with those type of challenges, who have not come to speak up because they already know before they leave the podium, their higher up who they're talking about is already planning retaliation against them?
Well, to begin with, we have a process. If you're talking about any staff to work in a district, they have their union representation to help facilitate some of the problems, and certainly there should be any retaliation from going to the union. We meet as a staff with a lot of people that have complaints. When anonymous letters come in, they might say, Susie Walker shouldn't be in a job and they're terrible. That doesn't say what they're doing. We have no idea what that means. So we're saying we would like to resolve issues. There is a protocol, and the protocol is to seek assistance from the union rep. And if that doesn't work, they can always come to the district office. Certainly, I understand that people might be fearful, particularly when they're untenured. But that's the mechanism that you have to use. We, cannot respond to anonymous letters that give us little or no information. Okay?
I forgot to mention also earlier that the yearbook sales are going to be up to April 26th, and the yearbook is $50.
Thank you.
I have a question. I want to ask Mr. Campbell. When somebody is up for a disciplinary action. And whoever is in charge, basically there should be a call to a meeting. And if there's no call to a meeting for the rights of an individual to bring representation, is that a violation of that individual's rights?
Any meeting that, especially when it comes to disciplinary actions, they have to have a union representative. So if they do not have somebody that's representing them within their union, then that meeting cannot take place.
Okay, so if it does take place and there's no call to the meeting,
I don't know what does that mean?
no call to the meeting that you informed me.
Can you speak into the mic?
Oh, yes, I can. You can't hear me?
I hear you, but I guess the public can.
All right, okay. So if there's no call to the meeting, right, and there is a meeting, and individual doesn't even know or is informed about the meeting, and just a telephone call, well, you better come now, but never was informed about it, get there, surprised about it, and was not called to it to say, hey, you have the right to bring representation, union representation. And that has and was not the case. Is that a violation of that individual and should not have taken place?
So I don't know what specific thing you're talking about, so I would have to get that information in order to look into it.
Okay, here's my second question. If there is disciplinary action, okay, who finalizes that action that has taken place? Is it the superintendent or who?
So it depends on what level of discipline is taking place. So I have to know exactly what you're talking about. So we can talk offline to figure that out.
Okay. I just have a question for Mr. Ramundi. Is there an opening for custodian at Hamilton School? Oh my God. Mm-hmm. No?
Yeah.
I'm just asking. Oh, Mr. Campbell, I'm sorry.
No, not at this time. I could look to check to make sure, just to finalize it, but okay. I'm not sure off the top of my head for that.
I think
all right, just asking.
The question that Trustee Middleton, there's a Weingarten rule as part of your union. You should know that. You have a Weingarten rule. That's something our legal team can, if you want to talk offline, but each employee in a union should know that. Right. That's one of their main rights. So they should look it up and see what's covered. But as part of the union reps should be informing them of their rights.
You're right. But if you are called to a meeting with no knowledge, and when you get there because of what the situation is, and you proceed because who you have there is called by the district, and it's not the district that should be doing it, but the individual who has no knowledge, it's a violation.
We can talk offline about this with legal, okay? I just wanted to share that information.
But that's contractual.
Okay.
It's contractual.
Okay, are we finished with old business? Thank you. We're going to go on to our resolutions. Okay, can I have a motion for 5.1 Human Resources 102A certified?
Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 5.2 Human Resources Resolution 102B classified?
Motion. Second.
That was you, Swinders? Who second?
I did.
Yeah, okay. Questions, concerns, discussions? All in favor? Aye. All in favor? Any opposed? Abstain? Okay. Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 6.1 authorization for an after-school lifeguard certification course?
Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Abstain?
Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 6.2? Approval for merge athletic activities for the 2024-2025 school year.
Motion.
Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions?
So I have a question. When we merge the athletic activities, what's the benefit for our district? And can our kids be merged when we don't have enough people on the team to go to their school districts? Do we share facilities, transportation, cost of coaches? I'm just asking, is that who to answer that?
Ms. Jones is going to answer. That was a question I had too. Ms. Jones, looking for
It's the next one, but it's not this one. This is not this one.
The first one is for the merge for the 7th and 8th grade students.
This is 6.2.
But just like you saw.
Well, right. So when we do it, I would like to understand.
Now it's a combination of Mount Vernon High School.
Just Mount Vernon?
And Denzel Washington and their teams, students teams, to form a district-wide team.
Okay, so it's intramural.
Yes.
And they get transportation?
I believe they're transported from their buildings over to Mount Vernon.
They have to.
For the basketball.
There's a bus that
And do our kids from CTE get transported when they have to go to their programs?
I cannot answer that right now, but I'll find out that again. Thank you.
All in favor? Aye. Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 6.3, approval for the merged athletic activities with Tuckahoe High School for the 2024-2025 school year?
Motion.
Second. Question.
Okay, questions, concerns, discussions, please.
Just understanding, we're basically giving them
Use of our pool at no cost, yes? Or did I miss that?
I don't know if there's a cost to this, but what I do know is that this has been happening over the years where we are combining with other buildings, other schools to create a team. I think currently, for example, in our swim team, we have 5 Tuckahoe students. My understanding is that there are schools that have invested in our programs, and so it's a win-win situation.
I'd like to know if we can win some more. So if they're using our facility, right, so we can build this incredible swim team that includes other children in other districts and other areas, do we have access to ask them the same thing? We have needs. Our teams have needs, right, that our district can't necessarily serve as far as adequate building, gymnasium. We don't have it for the most part. Not in the foreseeable future either. Have we started the conversation with schools like this districts like the Tuckahoe School District? Hey, can we come over and use your gymnasium for our modified volleyball team that doesn't have a gym to use? It has a ceiling or a net. Have we started a conversation like that?
That's a very good concern, and I will be taking up this conversation with Coach Spear, and I'll have an answer for you.
Okay, I just wanted to interject. Not Tuckahoe, but Bronxville. I want to remind the public that several years ago when we had a student budget and we had to cut our athletics department entirely, Bronxville gave us $250,000, and that's how we were able to survive. They are our neighbors, and they came to our rescue. You remember that? So some of our neighbors, they put up their money, $250,000 just out of the goodness of their hearts. All right?
So what are they pulling out now?
Right.
I will find out tonight.
Thank you. Does Tuckahoe have a pool?
They don't. That's why they're asking to use ours.
Oh, so is it customary?
It's a team. They joined our swim team.
And don't mistake that we welcome them. We just like to know. how it works for both of us.
Right. So if they joined our team, then their Tuckahoe isn't actually using our pool if we're all a team.
That's correct.
Okay. I just want to understand that because, like, if everybody's together that doesn't have a pool, but we have a pool, but we made a team, then our team is using the pool, not Tuckahoe is using the pool. So that's why I wanted to thank
That's
the team.
a great point. Why maybe we explore doing some joint activities, sports activities with neighboring school districts that have the facilities that we need, we don't have. Maybe we can have a cross-district volleyball team or something like that.
I just want to remind everybody, so this is the counselor speaking. I don't know if you can hear me. So when our students do not all have a full team and they want to play collegiately with NCAA, they won't be able to. So let's keep that in mind. You're getting something back. When we have full teams that they're competing, we will find out if they're getting extra, like maybe training that we don't have. However, though, when we don't have, like with swimming, I can speak to swimming because I swam in high school and college. I went to Lucia High School, and it so happened I did come to Mount Vernon to swim. Because it was a full team, a lot of the people who applied for, D1 to D3 were able to. So there are some benefits for our students, other than monetary benefits. So please keep that in mind.
So they are a team under Mount Vernon High School.
Yes.
So when they put it on the application, it says Mount Vernon swim team, whatever. So they can be Tuckahoe students, but it says Mount Vernon.
Yes.
And I'd like to know what our benefits are as a district. That's how many kids on that team?
Five.
So I'd like to know what this district benefits. And I respectfully ask that question.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 6.4, approval for merged athletic activities with Bronxville High School for the 2024-2025 school year?
Motion.
Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 7.1, authorization to pay staff for the dual language program at Mount Vernon High School?
Motion.
Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 7.2, authorization to pay staff to create the school comprehensive educational plan for the 2024-2025 school year?
Motion. Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 7.3, authorization to approve Saturday school at all K-8 schools from April 6th, June 15th, 2024?
Second. Question.
Questions, concerns, discussion?
So Saturday Academy started April 6th. Physically, according to this, it started, April 6th. Yes?
That's what it says. Wait for somebody.
It started last Saturday. So it didn't just start this past Saturday.
It was approved.
Wait, 12. What was it? 12? So it started just the 6th.
13. Excuse me, you approved the Saturday program. This is just giving you the names of the individuals.
Question. I'm just asking a simple
No, I
question
think
about when it actually started. Like, when did it actually?
Last week Saturday was
13th. Right, so not the 6th. That's my question.
Oh, okay.
That's my question. I understand that we're approving resolutions for a program that should have started 2 weeks ago according to this timing. But I'm asking, did it actually take traction and happen on the 6th? It didn't. It started on the 13th. That's what I'm trying to establish. That's it.
Thank you for that. Should we amend it? Do we have to amend it because of that? Is my question now.
I mean, the dates here seem like...
I know we approved it, right? But if we're saying it physically didn't start on that day,
That's my question.
Any legalese out there who ran on it?
I guess we could amend the start date for the next meeting. Right, Dr. Jones, we'll just amend it for the next meeting. Okay, thank you. The resolution, that is.
My only concern at that point is for the teachers who signed up, they signed up with $1 attached for a certain time frame. That's going to change now, right? And then we got weekends in there that are going to have holidays and things like that. The kids are not. Is there a breakdown, like a split, as to how we determine when the teachers get paid? So in other words, okay, 3 kids show up on a Saturday, and we shorten the day in half. Do we still pay the teacher for the half day, the full day? How does that work?
They put in timesheets, and based on the timesheets, they get paid.
So that we paid according to the timesheets.
Right.
That's what I needed to understand. Was there any discussion as to like those Saturdays? What happens if nobody shows up?
I was going to ask for like a report by our next meeting of how many kids have been showing up and how many teachers, because I know we are a lot of teachers will not work these Saturday programs. So we can have a short report next Saturday. I mean, whenever our next meeting is.
I have a quick question. So since we lost a week, are we going to gain a week?
This is going to take us up to the sitting of the exams.
Okay.
So once the exams is taken, once the exams are passed, then you really don't need pressure.
Okay.
So, but teachers are paid only for those Saturdays that they work. They will not get the full amount if we didn't have a session.
So basically, if one child shows up, then you cancel school.
The teachers travel in, and so they should be paid. Once they're here, students, we're making every effort. The schools are reaching out to parents. We're making every effort for these, and the principals for K8, they're reaching out to parents. They're making every effort for students in general.
Okay.
We will monitor, and if this is continuous, then we cut where the attendance are not high.
Okay. Thank you.
Has the summer school program been released to the teachers or the community or to the kids?
We are currently getting ready to post all the summer school.
Thank you.
They're actually in talent and waiting to be approved. So they need to be coming out soon.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Abstain? Okay. Motion carries. We have a motion for 7.4, authorization to approve Saturday school at Denzel Washington School of the Arts, Mount Vernon High School, and Mount Vernon STEAM Academy from April 6th to June 15th. 20.
Motion.
Second.
What was that? That was you? Okay.
Wanda and Adrian.
Questions, concerns, discussions?
We'll amend the start date to reflect it correctly for the last week. As it should be. Thank you.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. We have a motion for 8.1, approval of student services, pupil personnel services, memorandum number 16, dated April 16, 2024.
Motion.
Questions, concerns, discussions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. We have a motion for 8.2, an appointment of an impartial hearing officer for case number 625516.
Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. We have a motion for 8.3, approval of a memorandum of understanding between the Westchester County chapter of the Lynx Incorporated and the Mount Vernon City School District regarding the Colgate-Palmolive Bright Smiles, Bright Faces program.
Motion. Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions?
All in favor? Aye. Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. A motion for 8.4, authorization for the Autism Acceptance Day event to be held at Traphagen School.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions? All in favor? Aye. Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 8.5, accept the donation from Mount Vernon Federation of Teachers for the Autism Acceptance Day event?
Motion. Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions? All in favor? Aye. Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 9.1, approve general funds transfer, purchase order increases for 2023-2024, dated April 16th, 2024.
Motion.
Second. Question.
Questions, concerns, discussions?
Miss Mike, thank you so much. This transfer form, I was able to go back to the school budget and see that your farm accounts all aligned. They had budget there according to the approved budget. Thank you for putting it together. This is the neatest I've seen in this some time. Thank you. Regarding the increases for the purchase orders, will we ever get to see, or can we request to see what makes up those vendor invoices that align to that additional increase to the PO? Will we be able to see the backup for it? So that would be just a regular request that we can send to you? Yes? Okay, thank you.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for approval of general funds transfer and purchase order increase for Delta and New York Power Authority dated April 16th, 2024?
Motion.
Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions? All those in favor? Aye. Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 9.3, approve the settlement tax proceedings for 512 North High Street, LLC?
Motion.
Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions? All in favor? Aye. Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 9.4, approve the settlement tax proceedings for RS South 6th Avenue Family Limited Partnership?
Motion.
Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions? All those in favor? Aye. Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. A motion for 9.5, authorization to enter into an agreement with Southern Westchester BOCES for the 2024-2025 school year to bid jointly for supplies, commodities, materials, and equipment.
Motion.
Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions? All in favor? Aye. Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 9.6, authorization to accept transportation services from the Youth Bureau and the Recreation Department for the Autism Awareness Day event?
Motion. Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions?
Just calling out that this is totally free and of no charge or cost, which is, we're very thankful for that, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 10.1 to approve the 2024-2025 Southern Westchester BOCES administrative budget?
Motion.
Need a second?
Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 10.2, election of the trustee to Southern Westchester Board of Cooperative Educational Services? Okay. Questions, concerns, discussions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Okay, motion carries. Can I have a motion for 10.3 to adoption of the 2024-2025 Board of Education meeting calendar?
Motion. Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Okay, motion carries. Can I have a motion for 11.1? A motion to enter into executive session for the purpose of discussing pending litigation, the financial history of a particular person or corporation, or matters leading to the appointment, employment, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal of a particular person or corporation, and to receive legal advice on a pending matter.
Motion.
So all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight, and we will not be coming back from executive session. Thank you and get home safely.